Hey David, Jesse Gibbs. Wanted to make this video to accompany the estimates I'm sending over for your modification. So a little different here. So just kind of follow along with me. I've got four estimates. We're not too worried about the estimates themselves right now because we're talking about locking in the rate. But estimate one, I have a 30-year fixed, but it's amortized over 29 years because you'll have that year of interest only. And we're doing it on that $1 million loan amount at 3%. Two, same thing, except 3.25. Option three is 3.5, and then option four is 4.0. And the point of this is just to give you an idea of what things look like um, if the rate for jumbo loans were to jump up. Now, as kind of discussed yesterday, jumbos are portfolio products, so they're not going to follow the normal conventional conforming, forecasting. They're fairly specific to banks because they're held on portfolio. So different banks will have, slightly different rates at any time. Nothing drastic, but a little more different than your normal conforming conventional. But really, what we're trying to get an idea of what happens to our payment. So FW1 is basically where we kind of stand today. Is hey, we're looking at probably offering a 3% rate, depending on the day. We have seen rates kind of rise since the election on the 6th. The discussion with that is there is some fear around checks and balances. This is not a political statement. It's just, this is what the fear is that when one party controls the entirety, both House, both Senate and Congress, or Senate and the House, and then the presidency, that the checks and balances are somewhat off. So there's some fear driving that. We do expect things to kind of stabilize here, but that's what we've seen since the election. So try kind of playing the higher end of what we've got now. We would do 3% now, and then we would look at, all right, well, what happens if this rate jumps a quarter? Maybe by the time we lock a half and then a full point. So you can take a look at this principal and interest here. So you'll see, the full point moves us about $550. So pretty significant there. The quarter of a point moves us 135 from here, and then we see a 273. So we are seeing large differences in payment. The other thing we want to look at is these amortization tables. So each option, and it's color coded for you, has a corresponding amortization table, and we're looking at this total interest here. So we see at 3%. Total interest is about $498,500. See, that jumps up about 47,000 with a quarter of a point difference, and almost 95,000 in this case, and then almost 200, to 197 or so in this case, a little more than 197. So large differences. Do I expect it to get up to 4%? No. But again, once everyone's vaccinated and the hope is that the market will rebound, restaurants will open, people will spend, there will be more money. It's kind of the rollout of that. It's thought to have been going slow now. So does that take 6 months? Does that take a year? Does that take 18 months? There's a lot of uncertainty around it. So when we're thinking about this, we want to think about, our risk aversion. So I'm going to pull in. Do I still have it up here? No. I'm going to pull in the email. And what I'm paying attention to right now is here's your breakdown of cost to lock in these rates. And this is based on your $100 mortgage amount. And this is in addition to any cost for the purchase and everything like that. So this is additional cost. This isn't flat cost. So for, you know, if you wanted to lock it in, let's say you get a few months down the road, we get 9 months, you're still, you know, vaccines starting to roll out a little more. But we're about 90 days from close. You could lock in. It would just cost you an extra $5,000. And then, you know, this one has an upfront deposit, so you make that. If you don't close, you lose that. But you know, the thought process is that you would be, you know, building the home anyway, so you're probably not going to lose that. And so this one would then come, you know, once we modified you, we would then have another additional 5,000. In this case, if you wanted to go for 6 months, you know, it'd be 12,500. You got 8 months, 10 months, and then a full year. So if you think about it, you know, if it was worst case scenario and you spent $30,000 to lock in for a year, you know, you're going to save 160 overall, more than 160. I think it would be 167,000 over that life of the loan. That's assuming you are keeping that loan, by the way. So you can also scroll down here and say, well, you know, maybe year 10, we're going to sell this house. You know, the kids are older, you know, we're going to get rid of it, or maybe it'd be year 15. And you can look at, all right, well, here's our cumulative interest for the 3% versus our cumulative interest. And so even in this case, you're saving, you know, $134,000. So that $30,000 up front may make sense to you. Again, this really comes down to your risk aversion, David. Take some time to review this. You can play with this extra monthly payment number. You know, hey, what if we put an extra $200 a month towards this? What happens to that interest? What happens to the total paid? Everything like that. Hope you found this helpful. Feel free to let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, good luck with your negotiations. I'll talk to you soon, David. Bye.